introduction about Manish. Manish is our consultant optometrist at CL Gupta Institute. Also, he did the bachelor in optometry in the NSHM Durgapur, and followed by he has joined as a faculty optometrist at CL Gupta Institute. Also, along with he is pursuing master in optometry, more optometry in City University, Ludhiana, and his like area of interest like is anti segment and also contact lens. And today he's going to talk about the managing versions animals and the case base. So Manish, we can start now.
Thank you for the introduction, sir. Evening to all my respected sir and all the interns and the fellow. So today I am going to discuss about the versions anomalies management with the case base. Okay, and today's session will be monitored by the Mr. Kampal, who is a consultant pediatric optometrist. So we should know about the versions. So when there is a so if you see the versions, it is simultaneous eye movement, so moving inward and outward, and it is vergence and divergence. So when there is inability to perform these tasks, it leads to the vergence anomalies and vergence disorder. Okay. So there is a study which is done by the Siemens in 1996 that the prevalence of the vergence anomalies or binocular vision disorder is more than the prevalence of vergence anomalies and as compared to the refractive error. So now this brings that why this topic is important. So and there are many supporting articles which say the convergent insufficiency is more prevalent among all the binocular vision disorder. Again, the convergent insufficiency is a greater impact on the academic performance and the classroom environment. So from any school going children as well. So let us apply in our day-to-day life and also in the classroom activity. So there are the many supporting articles. So which say the convergent insufficiency is more prevalent among the binocular vision disorder. And again, the convergent insufficiency is a greater impact on the academic performance. So a classroom environment for a school-going child. So also and let us know apply in our day-to-day life and also in the classroom environment for a learning ability, but also in the near vision tasks and near vision activities. So it is going to have a effort. So timely diagnosis and the management is very important to improve the quality of life. Okay. So if you talk about the vergence dysfunction, so there are the various vergence dysfunction like convergent insufficiency, convergent excess, divergent insufficiency, divergent excess, fusional vergence dysfunction, basic exophoria, and basic exophoria. And now when we go into the symptoms of the patient, then patient can be symptomatic and asymptomatic. Now the symptomatic and asymptomatic doesn't mean that the condition is very severe or mild. It can be also because of the pain threshold is low or high. So when it comes to asymptomatic patient, it is also because when there is suppression either of the eye or when there is vergence dysfunction, then there can be closed one eye or in order to reduce the demand of the vergence. So even in this condition, the patient should be asymptomatic. Okay. So one thing which we have to among the risk factor in this condition is the symptoms will increase with the prolonged near work, especially when it comes in the any professor like IT professors, those who are using the computer for the 6 to 7 hours per day and having the computer work daily for the long period of time, and those who have the near vision activities more. So what happens at the end of the day that the symptoms will increase. Okay. And if you see the various symptoms as vergence dysfunctions will have the various symptoms like autonomic symptoms, and there can be a complaint of headache, and there also big complaint of with the blurring of vision, and also the patient come with the complaint of double vision. And also and whenever and also sometimes the patient can complain there is a poor concentration when they tends to the near activities, and when they have the poor concentration they will lose the interest. Okay, and there will and there will be the lose of interest, and there will be the difficulty in the near activities. So so also in case of the convergent insufficiency, what happens? They tends to have the fatigue and sleeping tendency. Those who are working for a prolonged near work, and in case of the severe cases, patient will even have the mild ocular pain and redness in their in his or her eye. And there are the many symptoms-based questionnaire, among which was developed by the College of Optometry in Vision Development. And these all the question is for the these all the questions are for the screening purpose. So when we get to know have the patient is suffering from binocular vision disorder or not. So if you may not able to diagnose what is the burden function in that patient, so a symptom-based questionnaire is important role to rule out the one things in this that they it is asymptomatic patient will not be diagnosed at this stage. Okay. So these all question is for the only for the screening purpose. So let's move to the other slide. So if a patient visit in your clinic or any hospital, secondary or tertiary hospital, and the patient came with a complaint of symptoms like headache, eye strain, and stomach symptoms or something else. So if you don't and if you do the CT examinations, and if you see the anterior and posterior segment is within a normal limit, and if you found a very significant power, so then doesn't get confused or doesn't get bother what about to do in this case. So this type of case and this type of patient is always referred to the binocular vision assessment, which help you to further management of the symptoms of the patient. Those who visit in your clinic or hospital. So binocular, so let's move to the other slide. Yeah, and here we'll talk about the FORIA. And so before going to the FORIA, like binocular vision assessment in detail has explained by the Mr. Ram Gopal and in his lectures, and also by the Miss Arti has explained about the accommodation anomaly. So I'm not going to explain it in details, but today I'm going to discuss about the how to diagnose and manage the burden dysfunction. So it comes to diagnose burden and dysfunction. Main things we see the FORIA. Okay, the most important thing is FORIA. So here, if you go to see what the FORIA is not in the normal limit, we first see what is the type and amount of the FORIA for the distance and near. And then so once you see and see the amount and type of the FORIA, and that the FORIA should try to correlate with the direct and indirect test. So before going to the direct test and indirect test, so we have to clear about this test. So if you see the direct test, then it gives you the direct management of the burden, like near point of convergence, fusional burgence, that may be negative fusional burgence, and that may be positive fusional burgence, and also your the burgence facility. Okay. And if you go to the indirect test, you will have the indirect management of the burgence, like relative accommodation, that may be positive relative accommodation and negative relative accommodation, and also the monocular estimate method and binocular accommodative facility. Okay. And it will be the first you see what is the type and amount of the FORIA for the distance and near, and also we always try to correlate with the direct test and indirect test, which I'll be going to discuss in the further slide. So now see the most important of today class, that when so now this slide, if you see, then FORIA is abnormal for the distance and near. So in case when you see the phoria for distance and near, so that we have to do exophoria for the distance and near, so that we have to do is when the exophoria is more, then it is divergent axis. And if the exophoria is unequal to the distance and near, the magnitude or the amount of the phoria and the exophoria for the distance and the near is less than 5 prism diopter difference, then it is a basic exophoria. And if the exophoria is more at the near, and it is convergent insufficiency. And so similar things it is applied in esophoria. Like if here if the exophoria is more than distance, then the patient is not able to diverge. So more at distance, so it is divergent insufficiency. And similar things, if the exophoria is equal at distance and near with the less than 5 prism diopter magnitude, then it is basic exophoria. And if the exophoria is more at the near, then it is convergent axis. So now the phoria is normal at the distance and near, and the patient have the above mentioned symptoms. Like for example, if you take one example, then if you find everything normal and the phoria, your phoria is normal, and the patient has visited to your clinic and complaining of asthenic symptoms like blurring of vision and headache and whatever. So in that case, try to look at the other condition also, like try to focus on the fusional burden dysfunction. So about the fusional burden dysfunction, I will talk in other slide. So look for the, and apart from the fusional burden dysfunction, look for any accommodative disorder. See any accommodative disorder, like if you see the burden could not be fine, accommodation is having the problem. Okay, so here the accommodation is big role, and also we have to see about the what is the accommodation, and so try to look for the accommodation parameter. So if it is okay or not, and also look for there is latent hypophoria or not. So if you see any latent hypophoria, then you can refer for a cyclorefraction. So look for any to diagnose the latent hypophoria. And so and here is one publication, in-house publication of which is done by the Mr. Samir sir and Mosaf sir. And so if you read that article, then you will have the much more understanding about the how to diagnose the latent hypophoria.
Manish.
So to better understand. Okay. So to much more understanding, let's move to the case analysis. So now we start with the case. So that we can have the better understanding about the diagnosis. So 27-year male, we have occupation is IT professional, come to our clinic and having a complaint of headache which is bitemporal since 8 months after the 15 to 20 minutes of computer work. And apart from this, he has a history of headache with a break from the computer. And he has a history of using glasses since 1 year and did not change since then. And there is no any specific history of ocular health and ocular examination and any trauma, and no any under medication and not aware of any allergy. And his PGP, he is wearing the PGP in right eye is 0.5 cylinder at 180 degree, and with that PGP vision is 2020 at 2020 and 6 is 40 centimeter. If we talk about the left eye, he is having -1 diopter cylinder at 180 and vision is 2020 at and 6. And when we perform the retinoscopy, we found right eye is having plano and the left eye is having -1 degree cylinder at 180 degree. And when we go to the subjective fraction and acceptance, we see the right eye having plano and he is able to read 2020 at and 6 at 40 centimeter, and left eye is having a power of -1 diopter cylinder at 180, and the vision is 2020 at n6. And slit lamp examination or posterior examination was within normal limit, and patient had advised for the refer for the binocular vision assessment before dilated fundus examination. So let's see what was the binocular vision assessment. So see in binocular vision assessment, the sensory status was good. Okay, sensory status is good, and patient has the fusion at distance and near, and hysteropsis is good. What we see in motor test, so and the extraocular motion is full and free in all the direction, and there is no any pain while moving the eye at any gauge. Now look into the chorea and try to look in chorea and try to correlate with the direct and indirect test. So cover test shows the exophoria for distance and near, and prism bar cover test shows two prism base in, and 10 prism base in for near. And AC by ratio was within normal limit. If we see this, and the near point of convergence and the near point of convergence with accommodative target and with rate filter was receding. So both the value is receding, so the amplitude of the accommodation and the patient amplitude of accommodation was okay with monocularly, and binocularly slightly towards the axis side, and the near point of accommodation was plus 1.5 diopter spherical, and PRA was minus 2.75 diopter spherical, and MEM has a lead of accommodation in both the eye. MEM is showing a lead. Okay. Now near point of divergence for distance and near was within normal limit, and positive fusional divergence for the distance and near was reduced. So if you see here the positive fusional divergence. Okay, if you see here, the positive fusional divergence is the break of 6 prism diopter, and for distance and for near there is break of 8 prism diopter. So it is very poor, and accommodative facility monocular was better, and it will slightly towards the borderline. So it is slightly recede. And if you see the binocular, it was only 3 cycles per minute. And there was a difficulty with the plus. So we all know that binocular plus to assist the convergence, and binocular minus is to assist the divergence. So try to keep in your mind that, so if you see easy to diagnose that version facility has the 3 cycle per minute with a difficulty with base in and base out, and base in is for the convergence and base out for the divergence. So let's see what is the diagnosis. So before you go into the diagnosis, so here is a normal value. So here I will quickly revise this once again. So here, so if you see the normal, if you see the normal value at the distance exophoria, it should be around like chorea at the distance exophoria at the distance exophoria, it should be around 1 exophoria at the near, and 3 exophoria, which is plus minus 3, that is for the ortho or pseudo to the 6 prism for exophoria is fine. And NPC has the normal value of 3 centimeter break and 5 centimeter recovery, plus minus 5. So up to the line of 8 centimeter break and 10 centimeter recovery is fine, and it is considered to as a normal. So if you see the NFB, then the NFB has the grade 8 7 should have a break at around 7 prism. So if you see the NFF at near and the PFF for distance, and the near grade should be approx around, and it should be at least 20 prism. So if you see here, it should be around the 20 prism. Okay. So Virgin facility here has the patient should be or anybody should have having 8 cycle per minute, and NRE should have plus 0.50 diopter spherical, and PRA should have minus 2.5 diopter spherical. Okay, and the MEM everyone will having a lag of accommodation for normal lag of on around the plus 0.50 diopter spherical to plus 0.75 diopter spherical around should be acceptable. Okay, so here binocular accommodative facility should be 8 cycle per minute should be good. Okay, so this is the normal value which I had discussed just now. So we have to keep in our mind the normal value so that we can easily diagnose the cases. So if you see here, the first you see into the near foria. Okay, like if you see near foria, the near exophoria is more. So whenever exophoria is more at near, then it is convergence insufficiency. So now try to correlate it with the direct test, and your direct test is NPC. So NPC both with the accommodative and non-accommodative target is receding. Then next is your Virgin facility. So the Virgin facility shows 3 cycle per minute, and there is a difficulty with the base out. And looking to a P of B value, first is fusional Virgins at both distance and near, and it is receded. Now again try to correlate with the indirect test, that is negative relative accommodation, which is plus 1.75 diopter spherical, and looking at the monocular estimate method value is going to lead up accommodation, and binocular accommodation facility is 3 cycle per minute. So if we see the direct test, everything is receded. Okay, so here direct test has everything is decreased. So and to the base out, and if you see the indirect test, everything is reduced. So with the binocular plus lens, so this trying to few of the things that the convergence parameter is poor. So if the convergence parameter is poor, so this is the case of convergence insufficiency. Okay, so for better understanding, let us see the diagnostic criteria, that how we can differentiate it and how we come to the diagnosis of convergence insufficiency. So if you see the diagnostic criteria for the exophoria, here the exophoria is more at the near, then it is convergence insufficiency. And if you see the indirect test of convergence insufficiency, the near point of convergence will be receding, and the positive fusional Virgins value, that is convergence parameter, will be less, and fusional Virgins will be less if your Virgins facility will be difficult with the base out, and the AC by ratio will be low. So in this case, AC by ratio will be low. So convergence insufficiency and divergence insufficiency and the AC by ratio will be low in this type of case. So if you see any axis of the convergence axis and divergence axis and AC by ratio, here it will be high. Now coming to the indirect test, if you see the MEM, will have the reflex reactions on the brain, which passes a lead of accommodation. Okay, so reflex reactions to convergence insufficiency. So this leads to the lead of accommodation, and the binocularly testing the plus lens, that is your NRA, will be less, and the binocular accommodation facility or patient will have the difficulty with the plus lens. And some things will apply into your divergence axis. Just a minute. So something will apply to your divergence axis as well, and the basic exophoria as well. Also one thing that is in divergence axis, the NPC may or may not get affected. So in most of the cases, it will not get the affected, but in some cases, yes, it even in the extreme cases, the convergence can be get affected. So if you see the basic exophoria, so in the basic exophoria, the exact tonic vergence. So NPC and the AC by ratio will not be affected, and here otherwise everything will be similar to the convergence insufficiency. Now let's move to the another case to understanding much more better. So here the 12th standard of 17-year male, he come with a complaint of astronomic symptoms associated with the short period of learning. So he said that he used to feel better after taking a small nap. So those astronomic symptoms used to occur when he exposed to the reading once a day. And there is no any history of using glasses and the contact lens, and no any history of ocular and systemic illness, and no any history of any medication, and not aware of any allergy. So when we get a visual acuity assessment, he had a vision 20/20 and N6 for the distance and near in both the eye, and his dry and wet retinoscopy shows very less amount of power, and it is not significant power. So coming to the phoria, and try to look into the phoria when it, and try to correlate it with direct test and indirect test. Okay. So phoria shows orthophoria for distance. Here, cover test showed the orthophoria for the distance and exophoria for near. And the prism bar cover test shows the orthophoria for distance and the two prism basin for the exophoria at near. And the AC by ratio was within the normal limit, and the amplitude of accommodation was okay. It was within normal limit, both the monocular and binocular. Okay, and the near point of convergence has the break at 5 centimeter and recovery at 8 centimeter, and it was not the convergence, but it was not the convergence version. So now look at for the negative fusional versions. So and the positive fusional versions value at the distance and near. So if you see everything has the early break. So let's see here. Everything has the early break, and that is the values are showing a poor convergence and the divergence as well. It shows here is a poor in convergence as well as in divergence. So if you see the negative relative accommodation, it has the plus 1.5 diopter spherical. Okay. And the positive relative accommodation has the -1 diopter spherical. And here the monocular accommodation facility was absolutely fine. See the binocular accommodation facility, it has only the 4 cycle per minute, and the patient has difficulty with the plus and minus lens. So both again convergence and divergence have the poor, having the problems. So Virgin facility had the Virgin facility, and the Virgins was poor. So he has having only 2 cycle per minute, and difficulty with base out as well as with base in prism, and that is base out for the divergence and base in for the divergence and base out for the convergence. So let's see the diagnosis. So I said all the base in and base out parameter and binocular also plus and minus lens were failed. So this is this case. So this case is diagnosed as the fusional version dysfunction. Okay. So if you talk about the fusional version dysfunction, then here the both the convergence and divergence are separated. So So here in Burden fusional Burden function, both the convergence and divergence are separated. So what happens? The binocularly patient will have the difficulty with plus lens as well as with minus lens. But when we see the monocularly, patient will not have any issue. So accommodations will be perfectly fine. So looking to the Fourier. So if you look into the Fourier will be perfectly fine. And when we see the divergence and divergence parameter, everything will be affected. Even NPC will also be fine, but when it comes to the range and velocity of convergence, fusional divergence will be down. So for much more understandable, now comes to the diagnostic criteria for this. So as I said, we will have all the base in and base out, and binocular plus and minus will be poor, whereas the Fourier will be normal. So let's comes to the another one. So for much more understanding, let's come to the another one case. And so here there was a 27-year-old female, and she was working as a teacher. And so she has with complaint of recent episode of losing interest when reading, and she had a pain around the eye after prolonged near work. And she also had one that she feel better with a break from the work, and there is no any history of using glasses and other specific systemic illness. And so coming to the vision part, she had 20/20 with N6 at 20 centimeter for the distance and near. And so subjective refraction shows plano value, and now look plano value here. And now looking at the Fourier, so Fourier shows exophoria for distance and isophoria for near. So here exophoria for the near, which is normal value in the form of 0 to 6 prism diopter exophoria. Okay, so here and the prism bar cover test shows the 2 prism base in and 4 prism base out for the distance and near, and the AC by ratio was 8:1. And the amplitude of accommodation for the monocular and binocularly was within normal limit. Here the near point of convergence was having a break at 20 centimeter, which is very closer to the eye, and the recovery at 3 centimeter. And here the negative fusional divergence value was having a poor recovery, and it was reduced. It was also reduced, and the near fusional divergence for the divergence, when we see the divergence and positive fusional divergence was more than the normal, usually we accept break. So it is around 20 prism diopter, but here it is breaking at 30 centimeter. And the negative relative accommodation was plus 2.50 diopter, and positive relative accommodation shows minus 0.50 diopter, and monocular accommodative facility was 8 cycle per minute, and binocular accommodative facilities have 2 cycle per minute, and the patient had difficulty with the minus. So binocularly, the patient having difficulty with the minus lens, and Borgen's facility having the difficulty with base in, and which have the 0 cycle per minute. And in fact, the patient was feeling base in. The patient could not make any single at one. Okay, so just a minute. So try to look for the Fourier and try to correlate it with the direct test and indirect test. So it will help you to further diagnosis. Okay. So if it is direct test and indirect test, so I hope most of you will diagnose this case. So let us see how many of you will diagnose this case. Uh, so let's go into the diagnosis. So if you see here, then exophoria is more at distance, and and distance phoria is normal, but the near phoria is exophoria. So listen it carefully. So this look like convergence axis, but try to correlate with the direct test. So the near point of convergence is much breaking at 2 centimeter. Okay, which was very closer to the eye, but because of your convergence axis, your negative fusional divergence value for the near is affected. Okay, where the positive fusional divergence is more than the normal. If you see here, it is more than the normal. Okay, so here if you see there, the even binocular accommodation facility and the divergence facility and all the are divergence parameter which will be affected here. So now let's try to correlate with Korea. So this is a convergence axis, yes, and if you see the AC by ratio which shows 8:1, so it shows the 8:1 ratio, so it is slightly excess. So in convergent axis and divergent axis will have the high AC by ratio. Okay, so this is a convergence axis case. So now going into the diagnostic area for exophoria for the much more understanding. So if you see the exophoria is more at near, so it is convergence axis. So what happened here in direct test, the near point of convergence will be more than normal, and the negative fusional divergence will be affected, and the divergence facility will show difficulty with base in, and AC by ratio will be high in this case. And indirect test MEM will be shows the lag of accommodation, as I said in the convergence insufficiency as well, and the convergence axis also. So we will have a reflex reaction from the band to axis the divergence, and it will be shows a lag of accommodation in this type of case. So here the positive relative accommodation will be reduced, and binocular accommodation facility will have the difficulty with the minus length. So something will going to have an divergent insufficiency and basic exophoria, as I said with the previous diagnostic criteria, like for the basic exophoria, and the divergent insufficiency, the near point of convergence will not affected, and the monocular estimate method will not the affected. But if you see the basic exophoria, the near point of convergence and the AC by A ratio will not be affected. Otherwise, everything and every parameter will be similar to the convergence axis, and it is with amount of phoria at distance and near. And if you will get a 9 gauge, and it is a convergent axis or divergent insufficiency or basic exophoria. So here we have done with the diagnosis part. So I hope every bodies would have not will have gained some idea about how to diagnose a case, and let's see how to you manage your case with the convergence divergence anomaly. So now I'm not going in deep about the procedure of each therapy here. So, but I just going to talk about the first stage with therapy that which can be give here. Okay, and many of the therapy has been discussed by the Mr. Ram Gopal sir as well in his lecture. So here, usually we will manage the condition with the lenses. So here, if we talk about the in management part, so usually we can manage the condition with the lenses, prism, and vision therapy. Okay, so it doesn't mean that it doesn't need a very costly equipment to manage the Burgess anomalies or binocular vision anomalies. So you always has the options of the lens, prism here. So vision therapy, when we work, we use the analophiles and polarized spectrum aperture and stereoscope and paper or text, which can be made handmade things also. So which can be made with the paper, pencil, and other miscellaneous tasks as well. Okay, so here if you see, so this slide is for you for the much more understandable. So if you see here the in convergence insufficiency, so this is about what is the primary and secondary manner for the treatment and the management for the various Burgess disorder. So see, I can shortly here with the go with the last one, which is fusional Burgess dysfunction. So it is a last option of visual with the Burgess anomaly. So if you see the fusional Burgess dysfunction, as I told you, if the patient is going to fill with base out and base in prism, and the binocularly patient will have the difficulty with plus and minus lens also. So added lenses or releasing prism will not help in this condition. So the only option for the fusional Burgess dysfunction is vision therapy. Okay. So you will have to do a vision therapy or advise vision therapy in fusional Burgess dysfunction. So there is no any option for this. So always if you see the diagnosis of fusional Burgess dysfunction, directly you have to refer for the vision therapy. So let's start from the first one, convergence insufficiency. So if the patient is coming to your clinic or hospital, so if the patient is diagnosed as convergent, primary treatment and what is the secondary treatment. Okay, so let's start from the first. So here the primary treatment for the convergence insufficiency is vision therapy, and the secondary treatment is you can give the releasing prism that is based in prism. So in convergence insufficiency, or the patient is having insufficiency or the convergence, releasing prism will be the better options to overcome the symptoms of if the patient is suffering from the convergence insufficiency. Okay, so when you go into the convergence excess, then the only one thing, the primary treatment is added lenses. So here your primary treatment will be the added lenses. You can prescribe the added lenses to this kinds of patient, and you can give the added lenses in convergence excess. So going to the divergence insufficiency and basic exophoria, so it is also similar manner. So in divergence insufficiency, what we do that in divergence insufficiency and the basic exophoria, the primary treatment will be the base out prism. Okay, and also the releasing prism. So that is for the divergent insufficiency, prism should be base out prism. And the secondary treatment, you can give the vision therapy for the basic exophoria. So, and if you have the other options like convergence excess case in the basic exophoria, you can give the added lenses as well. So moving on the divergence axis can be So divergence axis can be treated similarly as the basic exophoria. So here if the patient is suffering from divergence axis and the basic exophoria, the primary treatment is the vision therapy and the secondary treatment is added lenses. So that is, we give added minus lenses for the distance, and when we give, so these are the releasing prism for the divergence axis or basic exophoria. So what happens in this type of cases, that when we give the minus lenses for the distance, patient is using the same minus lenses for near. and the patient can cause or extra demand or over demand of accommodation. So which can cause the impact on the convergence as well. So in this case, tell the patient to remove his or her glasses, those who are visiting to your clinic for the near one. Okay, or you can add the you can give the added plus lenses can be given like added in the form of bifocal, and we can also give where it is minus lens for the distance and plus lens for the near. Or other option for basic exopodia releasing prism, that is basin prism, that you can prescribe. And now we will quickly go into the versions grade of vision therapy available. So at what stage what therapy should be advised. So here I will start with the first case that I have already explained, that is convergence insufficiency. So in convergence insufficiency, the first therapy what we start that we should be good, and the task in this is box string, which has been explained by the Ramgopal sir. And now I'll prefer here the box string over the other therapy which enter alerts in the central fusion. Okay, so this work on the principle of physiological diplopia, and it enter alerts of peripheral awareness and peripheral
Manish, hello.
fusion
Manish,
as
your
well,
voice is not
as
audible.
compared to the other type. Hello, yes, sir.
Manish, your voice
Is it audible, sir?
It's better now. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Repeat that. So whatever you saying, repeat that.
Okay, so I will start from the first. So if we talk in convergence axis, that we will start with the tags and the box string. So now I prefer box string over the therapy here. So which there will be the central fusions and which work on the and the box string which is which work in the principle of physiological diplopia, and it enters into the peripheral awareness and peripheral fusion as compared to the other therapy which enter a lots of central fusion which begin with. So here, if you if you focus on the near beam and the focus at the far beam, the extent of the beads all open and double. So this is a physiological diplopia. So once again, I want to repeat the physiological diplopia, that here, if you see, if you focus at the near beam and if you focus at the far beam, except that beam all appears double. Okay, so if the beam appear is double, so this is a physiological diplopia. So if so you always ask the patient look at one beats and maintain, or so that the patient at first have to get the physiological diplopia, and it will help to maintain the physiological diplopia, and then you can move on to the next beat like that, similar like that. So the main purpose of this therapy is to normalize the near point of convergence. So if you want to increase or decrease the difficulty, so suppose if it is very difficult a patient to start, you can start with the large size bits and slower go to the small size bit. So now here the next therapy is your vectogram and the trailing and the glance. Okay. So see if you see here, the vectogram and the tanograms are almost same. So it works on the same manner, but what is the difference? Difference here that in the tanograms, here is a red and green target. So what happened here is the inequality or retinal imbalance between both the eyes. So this become a hard to be a person, but to get the fusion and maintain the fusion. So according to many studies, it shows that and in tanograms it is very difficult to get a fusion and to maintain the fusion. So at first we will start with the vectogram, and it will quickly get the which it will get the fusion and it helps to maintain the fusion as well. So, and you slowly move to the telegrams. So in vectogram, we use the polarized glasses. So the vectograms and the tranaglyphs is used to the improve the fusional versions amplitude. So these both the therapy is used to increase improve your fusional versions amplitude. So that is your positive and negative fusional versions and also it helps to improve the velocity and the velocity of fusional versions. So here now if you get the convergence and vergence demand, here there are two slides. Okay, so there are two slides in vectogram, and if and in your telegram there here is also are two slides. So in horizontal separations of these slides will help you to create the convergence and divergence demand. So it is done from the 40 centimeter. As I told you, always moves through the peripheral target and peripheral fusion and central fusion. So when passing is done with 20 to 25 prism of convergence and 10 to 15 prism of divergence, then the next step is step. So this is almost normal value or level. So it is around the end of the vectogram. Okay. So in telegraphs, so when the patient is able to start here, the next step is your break the fusion. So how do you break the fusion? When you close one eye and or ask the patient to look at the far. So we can break the fusion and then ask the patient to look at the target, and as soon as the patient to look into the target, and if the patient should be able to regain the fusion immediately. So this is your next step of your therapy and your vectogram and of your vectogram and telegram. So in telegram, what happened? It is a non-variable, and as I told first that with the vectogram and it moves with the non. Hello. Audible? Sir, I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So in telegrams, what happens if you have a variable and non-variable? As I told you first that with the vectogram and then move with the non-variable telegrams. Why? It's because in the non-variance telegrams, the demand of the versions does not start with 0. As if you see in your variable telegrams, the demand start from the 0 and slowly goes to the 1 prism, 2 prism, and 4 prism like that. But that is not in the non-variable telegrams. What happened here? There is a directly demand of the convergence and divergence. So the patient should fuse first image, then jump to the another image. Like that, the patient should be going. So convergence and divergence, as I said, it is due to the horizontal separation with the two targets. And if in non-variable telegrams, there is a already disparity is there. So when you always use, okay, so you can always use a computerized therapy when you can clump around the vectogram and look handheld if you can take simultaneously. So computerized therapy will be the working on random dot stereo acuity and stereo acuity range, velocity of the fusions, and there are so many options in computerized therapy. So many studies shows that the computerized therapy is very beneficial for the vergence anomaly, and there is a septums and aperture. So it is named as the aperture ruler and balaenoscope. Here the demand is created with the single aperture and double apertures. Here the single aperture is more for the convergence and double aperture is for the divergence. So this aperture is used to create the convergence and divergence. And here the balaenoscope, we have the different target, like different target for the convergence and divergence. That is how we create the demand. So now the things here is here also demand does not start with the zero prism. Okay. So a patient is always having a Burgers anomalies, and suddenly we will exposing into the target, which is already having a Burgers demand of the 2.5 prism or 15 prism or 10 prism. So it will be very difficult to patient to fuse the fuse. So usually this therapy are given doing in the middle or by the end of the therapy. So we can give this type of therapy of like apertures and balance scope. So here we have the so here, so there are some of the home-based therapy like these also have the like Ballen card, central fusion card, and lifesaver card, and the eccentric sol card. This therapy also can have the given for the home-based therapy. So the purpose along with this, we can give a box string therapy, we can give the computerized therapy, which can work on the patient convergence and divergence. So this therapy is considered for the home-based therapy. Okay. So let's move to the another case. If you go into the second case, it is the fusional Burgers dysfunction, and here the fusional Burgers dysfunction, as I earlier said, only the vision therapy is work in the in this type of conditions. So here the base in and base out, plus and minus, everything is affected. So one thing we have to remember, whatever we vision therapy is see, if the patient is having the Burgers disorder, doesn't mean that we have to go with the Burgers therapy. So we should also give the accommodative therapy when the patient is actually, when we have the balance and the parameter between the accommodation and Burgers parameter. So in order to balance the parameter and the function of what we have to do is you have to both accommodate and Burgers therapy we have to give. So if you see, especially conditions of the fusional Burgers dysfunction, we will have give the both therapy with the plus lens and the minus lens and prism, which help in accommodation and Burgers. So because in accommodation has the impact of the Burgers directly, and it will affect the Burgers as well. So smoothly, I will go to the third case. Here the convergence axis, as I told you that only the Burgers anomalies where the primary treatment is added lens. So in convergence axis, so we give the added lens in several mode, like we use the negative relative accommodation, positive relative accommodation method. So listen, so I'll give an example in this, like if you give the added lens in so here we give the added lens in several modes, like if you NRA PRA method, you use the MEM method as well also here. But most commonly we use the negative relative accommodation and positive relative accommodation method, and we use sometimes MEM method as well. So as I already explained you that how to give the added lenses. Now see the example. So if NRE is plus 2.5 diopter and PRE is minus 0.5 diopter spherical, then added lenses so here the added lenses both add the both NRE plus PRA, and it will be divided by 2. So here we will get the plus 1. Okay. Here same way, if it comes with the MEM value, see the patient MEM and MEM value, and it will be subtracted with MEM to normal MEM. So here MEM is plus, here MEM is plus 1.5 diopter spherical, and it will be subtracted with normal value, like it have the plus 0.50, and if you subtract it, it will come with the plus 1 diopter spherical. So added lenses of plus 1.5 diopter spherical is given to the patient. So here is the alternate procedure for the convergence axis is vision therapy. So vision therapy, which I explained you the procedure, you will have to give the correct based on what is the conditions and what is the severity of the patient. Okay, so it becomes so lengthy. So I want to summarize this all the case what I have talked. Like to summarize, it become lengthy. I know that, and might be having some of you having boring from this lecture. So let's quickly revise this case. So when it comes to the diagnosis, first you see the amount of chorea, and then you try to correlate with the direct test and indirect test. So I always use here the direct test and indirect test. So if you understand the direct test and indirect test, then you can, and the normal value, so you can here come to the diagnosis part. Diagnosis, you can diagnose the case easily. So here always try to correlate with the direct test and indirect test. So as I told, your indirect test is near point of uh, convergence, and your fusional Burgers amplitude, and your Burgers facility. And indirect test is something which is indirectly mixed with the something like negative and positive relative accommodation and binocular accommodative facility, and your monocular estimate value as well. So if you come in the management, we can prescribe lenses, prism, and vision therapy for the visual dysfunction. We can do only vision therapy, and only the Burgers anomalies which you use added lenses is primary option, and for the convergences and other Burgers anomalies like convergence, insufficiency, divergent axis, and basic isoporia, we can use vision therapy for the primary option. Okay, got it? So one thing we have to always remember, that treat each patient based on his or her condition and severity. So still, I would like to conclude here by saying that those who seen all this therapy and everything patient symptoms should be considered as a main thing. So you treat each patient as an individual case, and do not go theoretically. There is no hard and fast that case I have to do everything, that every case should do the vision therapy. So don't do it. Okay. So first patient. So look this the patient is looking for the symptoms, and patient is has the severity for this or not, availability or not, and patient come for the vision therapy or not. So you have to look for the alternative therapy. So treat each patient individually. Okay. So before the so now, thank you.
Hello. So thank you so much, Manish. It was a great presentation. So now we'll take few questions. We'll take some questions from